Let's get you caught up on the breaking news we've been following all afternoon out of the Washington, D.C. area. A suspect is now in custody after two people were killed in separate shootings at a mall and shopping center in the Washington suburbs. Police took 62-year-old Eulalio Tordil into custody without incident. Tordil is an employee of the Federal Protective Service, which provides security at federal properties. Police say Tordil is also suspected in the shooting of his estranged wife yesterday as she was picking up their children from a Washington area high school. He was recently put on administrative duties after a protective order was issued against him by his wife. After Tordil's arrest, we spoke to our correspondent, Kris Van Cleave.
We did hear from one of the Montgomery County deputy chiefs that they do believe that this shooting, here at the Montgomery Mall, may be linked to the one in Aspen Hill, which may also be linked to this shooting yesterday at the high school, where the suspect is believed to have shot his estranged wife. What we do understand is this 62-year-old police officer had stayed in the area of where that Aspen Hill shooting had been. Police said they don't know if he was necessarily hiding out in the area. They wouldn't describe it that way. But we do know that he was taken into custody by the Montgomery County tactical team. This happened apparently without incident. And that's important because there'd been a lot of concern that he maybe was going to go out in a gun battle, that he was looking for what's often called suicide by cop. In this case, it appears he was taken into custody. He has been being transported to the Montgomery County Police Station for more questioning because the shooting spree may stream multiple jurisdictions. There's going to be a lot of hands in this investigation moving ahead. But, this came together very quickly here in the last 15 minutes or so. We went from this as an active manhunt to seeing that activity in Aspen Hill to the suspect is in custody. I can tell you that there's a lot of people in Montgomery County now and Prince George's County who are breathing a sigh of relief. This is the same area, Vlad, that was terrorized by the D.C. area sniper. And that happened not long after 2001. So when you start hearing about people being randomly shot in parking lots, that plays on fears that go back well over a decade in this area, simply because that's exactly what happened with the sniper. And that was a terrifying period of time for people here in this region.
Absolutely, Kris. I remember that moment vividly. John Allen Muhammad, the man who is now known as the D.C. sniper, suspected in killing 10 victims, injuring 3 people during that spree in 2002. And Kris, this man, Eulalio Tordil, is also now a prime suspect in the murder of his wife, Doris, who was killed at a school yesterday. What do you know about that?
There was no incident.
So, Vlad, what we hear there is that he may have staked out his estranged wife, who was a school teacher in Prince George's County, shot her in the parking lot, and then wounded a bystander, perhaps Good Samaritan, who had gone to render aid. The Good Samaritan there is expected to survive, was hit in the shoulder, but he did succeed. At least police believe that he was responsible for killing his estranged wife, and now may be responsible for the deaths of 2 other people. And then there are 2 people he wounded today. So you're looking at you're looking at a number of shootings, a number of victims. One of the survivors from the mall shooting here, which police are investigating back behind us, is in critical condition. So, and that was described as very critical condition. So you're looking at right now, at least 3 people have died, 3 other people wounded, one of them in critical condition. So, the death toll from this apparent crime spree could grow here. And this is a 62-year-old man who had been a police officer. It is sometimes hard to fathom how somebody goes from being the one that puts on the uniform to protect people, becomes the one who is taking lives in such a violent fashion. Of course, some of this will depend on how the investigation shakes out, but we know he had been put on administrative leave following a protective order being taken out against him, that his badge, his service weapon, and his credentials had been taken. It's not uncommon for officers to have a personal weapon at home. It appears that that's likely what was being used in these shootings. We're not getting any details from police about who the people that were shot today are, whether they have ties to this suspect or if it was truly just a random crime. Since he went after his ex-wife yesterday, allegedly, one of the things police are certainly going to look at is what ties the victims today may have to this suspect.
Absolutely, Kris. And it is, the initial reports from our affiliate WUSA were that person was being assaulted in the parking lot where you are right now, and there may have been people who wanted to come to the aid of that person, and that is what led to their shootings. But as you say, police not being very clear as to whether or not they see there's a link between those that were shot and those that were shot at the other location at the Giant supermarket.
Yeah, and we're not getting a whole lot of information. When you look at the map, to get from here to Aspen Hill, it's going to take you a good 25, 30 minutes. So the fact that the timeline is only about 35 minutes apart is one of the questions we have is do we think these are all related? But at this point, police are treating them, at least right now, is that all three shootings may have been done by the same man. And there are a lot of questions. Who was targeted? Why were they targeted? These other people that were caught in the crossfire were these Good Samaritans that just came to help, and what the motive is. What drives somebody to go after and target so many people, potentially people that they know.
Kris, we're looking at a shot right now where we see what appears to be evidence on the ground. It's from earlier today, but can you still see from where you are, your vantage point, that there remains evidence, debris on the ground where those people may have been shot?
Are we clear, guys?
Yes, in fact, I don't know if we can get a shot of it or not, but I can see an evidence marker right by the white car that back there behind the police cars, and you've got two police cars right here with their flashers on. On the other side of that is the crime scene, and there is, there's a number of evidence markers. I see several of them, and then debris on the ground. Some of it looks like things left behind from the paramedics. I know that they were trying very hard to save the life of the person who died, the second person who died here. That person died at the area hospital. So, yes, there's still evidence here. There are still evidence techs out here. Detectives are on this scene. Same story in Aspen Hill, where they are still investigating both of these. These are homicide scenes. That's a lot of work goes into those cases. The weather is not great for a homicide scene. You don't like your evidence to get wet here, the way that it's been raining steadily and at times very hard out here today. But still very much a crime scene here, very much a crime scene in Aspen Hill as well.